welcome to the Counterattack playthrough series. We're continuing with Empire of the Sun, the campaign scenario. About to start turn 3, but before we do that, how about some corrections? Okay, the main thing that I was in error with was the attrition phase. And I think the main reason I screwed it up is that there's a few sections that discuss attrition, and when I looked it up to try to remember how to do it, I wasn't in the most verbose section, so I didn't see how things had to go down. So I'm going to roll back a little bit here. So remember the 2 single-step Dutch infantry regiments, they were eliminated for attrition because they are not in supply. Well, that's technically not the full scope of what causes attrition. So for single-step air and ground units, to attrit, they have to be unsupplied. They cannot be in a hex affected by an emergency supply route, and they have to be out of range of a friendly headquarters, regardless of whether it's supplied or not. So they were in range of ABDA. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So technically, they come back. I don't know if I have them in the right spots. Well, let's see, 18, 13. There we go. So they're back because they're single step. And they are within range of a friendly headquarters. Now, if they were multi-step, they would reduce, even though they're in range of a friendly headquarters. It's just the elimination of a step, of the final step of a unit, is more difficult. Similarly, the U.S. Unit on Samar Leyte, which is a single-step unit, it does not attrit because it is within range of that headquarters there. I mentioned it can't be, a single-step unit can't attrit to nothing if it's on an emergency supply route. Well, there's 2 kinds of emergency supply routes. One's the hump. That's the one I mentioned last video about the air supply train that goes over the Himalayas. Another one's called the Tokyo Express, which is like a sea supply train. And none of those are in play right now, so it's irrelevant, but just thought I'd mention it. Also, it was mentioned by folks online that they thought the units in here, the Dutch unit, the Dutch infantry and Dutch aircraft should have attrited. Please help me out if I'm in error, but I feel that that advice was incorrect. Because I think they're in supply. So this headquarters here has to be in supply for these units to be in supply, which are co-located with it. This headquarters is a joint headquarters. The rules for joint headquarters are that they have to be able to trace a path free of enemy units and zones of influence off the east edge of the map, and it definitely can. Headquarter supply tracing is allowed to enter and exit ports, as many ports as necessary, and cross over land with no restrictions other than enemies blocking the trace. And so we can see here, even though this whole hex is within the zone of influence of the Japanese aircraft, supply can flow in through this port, over land, into the hex, which, to my reading, puts it in supply. Similarly, this Australian unit here is adjacent, and you are able to trace supply over land. I'm not going to look at the exact rules, but I know adjacent is fine for this guy. I think you can spend like 4 movement points having supply travel over land to a headquarters, something like that. And so that guy is within range. Now, one thing surprising to me that people pointed out is the Australians here in Eastern New Guinea and Eastern Australia. They should have attrited. They are not within range of a headquarters capable of activating them. And while you can trace a very long distance over sea, you still have to be within the range of the headquarters to claim supply from it. And so all these units are going to attrit, which is kind of interesting. I guess I was intended to place the ABDA headquarters closer to Australia. Help me out here if this sounds strange or incorrect. There's no U.S. headquarters to move or to place down here, or other Commonwealth headquarters. I guess I could have placed the Southeast Asian Command headquarters near here, but then I need that in Southeast Asia. I guess I could have moved the Hawaiian headquarters, but it takes a turn to do that. So I guess just by design, they're supposed to attrit. A little confused by that, but I'm going to do that, especially since a couple people approved of it. And as far as I know, those are all the mistakes or mistakes of significance in playing by the rules from turn 2. So we're going to get going on 3 now. Okay, we're starting the reinforcement phase with the reinforcement segment, and here are the allied reinforcements available. So as you recall, probably from turn 2, all these units were delayed. So they are no longer delayed, they're coming in. I'm just going to slide that mess up there. But the war in Europe level is still level 1. There's levels 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, with 4 being really bad. But we're at level 1, where all reinforcements are delayed, with some actually being sent to Europe. But these all came in from being delayed. All these Commonwealth units are delayed as well, but looks like we'll be getting some good stuff in. And there's the New Zealanders. These headquarters, great, we needed those. Looks like a U.S. and a joint headquarters coming in, and those never get delayed. U.S. Navy are delayed, and then U.S. Army has to roll. And with the war in Europe level at 1, they have to roll a, I think it's a 1 or a 2? Oh, a 0 or a 1. On a 0 or a 1, they're delayed. So we're going to go across the aircraft and then across the infantry. Roll 6 times, that's a 5, 4, 5, 1. This aircraft is delayed, or sent to Europe. Infantry. Ooh, got a 0, man. U.S. bad rolls, last infantry. 6. Okay, so these guys are all delayed. And then this aircraft and infantry will be put on 3 turns later, so that will be turn 6. Okay, they have to go get blooded in Europe first. I like what this looks like here, so let's go place these units. Okay, now that I'm placing these reinforcements, looking at the US ones in particular, I realize how poorly I did. I'm not too familiar with the Pacific War. I mean, broad brush strokes, definitely. But like, for example, I don't know when the Japanese took Guadalcanal. I know it was early, but did they take it before this turn? Historically? Because according to the reinforcement rules, I can place land units, naval units, at a friendly port within activation range and supply range of a friendly headquarters. The Hawaiian headquarters is 25 hex range. Guadalcanal is in range. Bougainville here, which is also a juicy target, is in range of this aircraft's ZOI. But there's also Gilly Gilly here, so something tells me I played poorly. Well, I know I played poorly because I don't have to actually fight for Guadalcanal. I can just drop a unit right in there. So correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to go reread 3 times the rules, but I'm going to throw that guy there, throw this aircraft there. It's a Marine air wing here. We're going to go ahead and throw another aircraft here, a decent ranged aircraft. I'm going to throw a headquarters here. I mean, that's going to be huge to help try to kick the Japanese out of the Solomons. And then these two surface ships, I might as well just try to like beef this whole area up and then maybe bring the carriers down here at some point. So yeah, we've got Guadalcanal nicely set up right now, I think. So I'm going to go reread the rules, and then we'll move on to the other units. Yeah, I can see no reason why I can't do this in the rules, which means turn 2, the Japanese should have probably expanded from their base in Raval and taken Guadalcanal, because, yeah, this is just a big screw up, right? Because Raval and Guadalcanal, when you conquer them, it grants control of all the other bases in the area that don't have enemy units in them to the conqueror. So Japan, I didn't have very good cards, but I probably should have done whatever I could to get like a Marine unit down there to Guadalcanal. And yeah, so there's another U.S. air unit. It just has to be in supply and activation range, and it is of Hawaii, and on an airbase. So yeah, let's throw that guy there. So we've got a nice little base down here without having to fight the slog of Guadalcanal, but who knows what the Japanese have up their sleeve. Okay, I also have this U.S. Special Forces unit. I assume that's what SF stands for. It's got the sort of commando symbology on it. Maybe that's intended to go to Burma or something, or maybe New Guinea. New Guinea's out of range of a U.S. headquarters. Burma is out of range of a joint headquarters or U.S. headquarters. Let me see. Can Commonwealth command American units? Only air units. So I need to put this guy in range of a U.S. headquarters. And even though I put this South Pacific headquarters here, I think I'm only allowed to put units under that in terms of like having this headquarters be used as the source headquarters for a reinforcement. Otherwise, it has to come from a headquarters that's already on the map before the reinforcement phase, and that's 25 hexes away. I believe it's a tight draw from over here. I think we're just going to throw it onto Espiritu Santo. And then when we have a chance, we'll send it in. Maybe that guy is destined for Bougainville. We shall see. Okay, another thing, we're looking at Northern Australia here, and the reason we're doing that is because there's an ANZAC headquarters. So it's a joint headquarters. ANZAC, what is that? Australia, New Zealand, America, Canada? I feel like it's not America. But I think Darwin's a good spot. I need to get a unit there to sort of defend it, so the Japanese can't just come down and land. It's probably not worth coming down and landing just to knock a headquarters out. It would only be knocked out for a turn. But I think its 10 range gives it a decent coverage of Australia, so there'll be no more attrition within Australia. New Zealand, and let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it can't quite command the Americans over here. But I think that's okay. I think I'd rather get some projection up here. Might be silly. So yeah, so the last few reinforcements are British. Here they are. We have a decent naval force, including a really crappy but light carrier, a decent fleet carrier, battleship squadron, and a nice little aircraft unit. I think we'll go ahead and just stack all the ships together for now in Colombo. And this air unit's named SEAC, Southeast Asia Command, which implies to me it should go into Southeast Asia. I think we'll go ahead and throw it into this location. Mandalay. Let's throw it in the Mandalay for now. And then maybe we'll be able to use it for something else later. But yeah, incidentally, See this artwork here? It's called Air Units in China box. It has a picture of the flying tigers. I mentioned last turn a little bit about how the abstract war in China is fought. You can put some air units in here, and British or Commonwealth or U.S. and that helps the Chinese whenever the Japanese do a China offensive. Okay, let's do Japanese reinforcements. Okay, the Japanese have a weak CV coming in, another one of these aircraft, which I like. Somewhat weak army aircraft and a reduced army unit. Let's go find some places for them. Well, with the U.S. building up a presence down here, I feel like I need to sort of counterbalance it here. Of course, I have the carrier fleet over here, but I think we'll go ahead and let's see, what do we got here? Truck. Yeah, maybe we'll throw the CV in the truck. It's going to support operations down here. Hopefully not get destroyed. Throw this naval unit here. And then I think this army unit. Now I do have inter-service rivalry right now, but let's see, do we have an, we don't have a infantry unit over here, so we'll throw an infantry unit with that headquarters. And then we have this army air unit. It's got an extended range of 4. Just kind of looking around where it might be useful. Yeah, I think we'll just drop it into, like right here for now. I want to be able to hop somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe we'll scoot over here. We'll put it in Palau for now. Okay, that was Japanese reinforcements. Okay, it's the replacements phase, turn 3. So the Japanese are going to get 1 naval replacement. I'm guessing they don't have anything to build or repair. The Allies will get 2 ground again, 5 air again, and then 1 Chinese unit. Well, for our Chinese replacement, let's replace the one that's already out. And, you have to be in supply and all that, which he is. So, yeah, there we go. Oh, this should have been attrited. 2 of our ground unit replacements. We'll just go for the Australians that were just attrited last turn. And then 1 of our, yeah, we have a total of 2, so we're good there. And then 1 of our one of our air replacements will repair the Australian air unit. And I think that's all we have that's capable of being replaced. So, yeah, in terms of the units in the dead pile are all pre-war. There's no other damaged Allied units that are outside of zones of influence. So, yeah, we're good. The rest of them are thrown away. Strategic warfare segment, rolling a die, 1 dice, 10, rolled a 9. The current game turn is 3. I add 1 to the die roll for 10. Because of defective torpedoes, 10 is not less than or equal to the game turn. So there's no strategic warfare benefit. Okay, now it's the deal strategy cards segment. I already did that. Japanese still get 7 cards. By turn 5, though, that's going to be different. Let's take a look at what they drew, though. Ants. So this Japanese barge traffic reinforcement. Interesting. So this looks like a nice little amphibious bump. Plus, it's military, so it's a offensive event. Looks interesting. East Force, Conquest of Sleepy. So, looks like some paratroopers can be used to attack the Dutch, maybe. This might come in really nice. Plus, it has a logistics value of 5, so I can activate 6 or 5 plus whatever the efficiency rating of the headquarters is. So that's cool. So, that's a nice one. War in Europe. Okay, so the Axis win a victory when I play this, and so that could help harm the Allies. Counteroffensive. So this is essentially a offensive that you launch as a reaction to an Allied offensive. This could be cool. Yeah, that looks powerful. Yeah, that's much better than last turn. Oh, another weather card, so that'll cancel an allied offensive. And what do we got here? Submarine attack. During an offensive, a submarine can try to destroy a allied naval unit, plus you draw a card. Cool. And then, another intercept from a code change. I like it. Okay, this is a much better hand. Now for the allies. According to the rules, scenario or turn 3, their base draw is 6 cards, which I've drawn. It can only be reduced at this time by certain countries or regions surrendering, and none have yet. So, okay, the allies have a nice looking offensive card. Soviets invade Manchuria. Okay. This is a card intended to represent something that happens at the end of the game, basically. But it's also a reshuffle trigger. So this card has to be played, and it will trigger a reshuffle of the strategy deck for the allies. Okay, nice little reaction to cancel a surprise attack, essentially. Firebombing in Japan. Randomly remove 1 card from the Japanese hand of a B-29 long-range bomber. Oh, we don't have B-29s yet, so this is just a 3-ops, which I'll take. Ooh, yes, another nice offensive card. Okay, so the allies are going to come in to their own here. Ooh, another offensive. This one looks even more powerful. May only be played as an event if at least 1 battle hex is declared in a Philippine hex. I don't think I can do that. It might not be too late, but it's going to be tough to be able to pull that off. Otherwise, it's just a 3-ops. And yeah, okay, I like the cards for both sides. By the way, since the US only get 6 cards, they get 1 pass. Since it sounds like the default hand size is 7. Off camera, I also moved the Allied ASPs up to 2. Every reinforcement phase, they get 1 more ASP. Okay, it's now the offensive phase, and we have to determine initiative. Japanese have more cards, they have initiative. Now thinking about what Japanese card I want to play, I'm kind of looking down here because the allies have this decent force down here in comparison to the Japanese force, which is not as strong. There are carriers within the region though. So I almost, as the Japanese, want to react to this immediately, try to get more stuff down here. But I need to conquer the Philippines, I need to conquer Borneo, Sumatra. And I have that weather card, so if some like amazing allied attack comes in to Rabaul, for example, I can cancel it with the weather card. So I need to go plan something out in the Dutch East Indies or the Philippines. Okay, here's the Dutch East Indies, kind of struggling to capture it. And then there's this East Force card. Looks pretty cool. It's Conquest of the Celebes, or of Celebes, which is just thematic, yet might be appropriate. So I can activate South or South Seas Headquarters, logistics value of 5. And it says, prior to movement, I can use paratroopers. Place a Japanese control marker in a hex that is within extended range of an active Japanese air unit if the hex is either unoccupied or is occupied solely by a Dutch regiment, and the hex is not within an unneutralized allied ZOI. Eliminate the Dutch regiment. So I can go grab a juicy unoccupied unit, or space, or kill a Dutch regiment for free. So that looks cool. We're going to play this card. Now, South Seas is a little too far away. It's over here. It can reach like right around here. That's not good enough. So I think we're going to do South Headquarters for the activating headquarters, which is here. Has a efficiency of 1. Its range is 12. Should cover most of this. Since the logistics value is 5, that means we can activate 6 units. And I'm definitely going to activate an air unit within range, extended range, of a Dutch regiment or empty space. And of course, we're still in inter-service rivalry, and that reminds me there weren't any cards that can reverse that. So this entire turn is still an inter-service rivalry for the Japanese. So I have to decide, Navy or Army. I think I have a lot more Navy assets out here. Certainly ships, got some Marines, some fairly long-range aircraft over here. These ships down here, some Marines, more Marines. Yeah, but yeah, we're gonna do a naval maneuver. Now I played this card as an event. It's EC7, and someone pointed out I keep forgetting that the die roll starts at 0, so EC7 is not a 70% chance of detection, it's an 80% chance of detection. So I don't want to do something that allows the allies, especially here, to harm me too heavily. So got to plan that out carefully. Now, I definitely would consider landing in Kandari, get that port and airfield there, try to get ZOIs over these guys. Also, maybe Balik Papan instead. I'm talking about the paratrooper situation on this card. That'd be cool. But there's 2 resource X's right here, and I can grab both of them. I can activate this Marine unit. And then I can activate this air unit here to drop paratroops. Besides just participating as an air unit, I can use those paratroops to take out this regiment or take out this regiment. So definitely we'll activate those 2 guys. I'm going to activate a Marine unit down here at Sinkawang. It doesn't have any military ships capable of transporting air, so that will have to be a ASP. I plan to take it over water. Got 3 more units to activate. We're going to activate the Ryujo, a Marine unit in here, and I'd like to activate this air unit too, but I think I still need it in the southern Philippines. So we'll go ahead and activate this unit here on Formosa, Taiwan. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, I think we're ready to start moving. First, the paratroopers. So I can drop some paratroops, in quotes, on a Dutch regiment or an empty location. If there's a regiment there, it destroys it. Cannot be in an enemy zone of influence. I'm going to drop it right on this regiment here. Take out Palambang. We've increased our resources from 4 to 5, so that's a big benefit. This guy's gone permanently. Okay, now we move. By the way, this is the aircraft I used. Extended range was legal. That was a 3 ops card, which allows me to move 5 spaces by sea for every op, so that's 15 spaces. This guy's going to board transports. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's going to conduct an amphibious assault on Banjarmasin. Yeah, I know. It's just out of zone of influence range. I suppose that could be a pretty serious situation if the enemy can react, and they probably can. This Marine unit is going to move into Bangka and conquer it. That gives us another resource X, which I definitely need to be capturing these resource X's. We're at 6 for the Japanese. Okay, I activated another Marine over here. And the Ryujo. Yeah, we'll send the Ryujo down to support this invasion. I'm mostly doing it because of the potential for a counterattack from ABDA's crappy fleet. We do have this Marine unit ready to move. Oh, and by the way, when I moved that Marine unit, they used 1 Japanese ASP because of inter-service rivalry. our 7 ASP are only considered 4 ASP. And I think this guy, he's going to cruise right down. And, you know, it's at risk of being destroyed. This decent Dutch infantry unit in here. But it's going to come and land at Sorabaja. Okay. And then we still have this one Japanese air unit up here that I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with, but I want to get it down in this area. It can make 3 hops. Its extended range is 5. I can use that extended range. 1, 2. That's hop number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hop number 2. 1, 2, 3. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Hop to there. This one here, which was used for paratroops, but there's no restriction, it can also make 3 hops. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm bringing it down there. You know, maybe it'll go back during post-battle movement, just to kind of be able to cover maybe a counterattack here or a counterattack here by the Allies. Time to declare battle hexes. There aren't any. Wow. They're just unopposed amphibious assaults, which do not count as battle hexes. I'm just doing a quick skim of the rules. Yeah, I think that's true. I don't have to declare any battle hexes. I have an aircraft in range of some enemy units, so I could have declared a battle hex there, but I feel it's to my benefit as the Japanese to not declare any battle hexes, because that would allow the Allies to try to react. So this would be a great time for the Allies to play a weather card, since there are no battle hexes. Try to cancel the offensive, but they don't have one. It's the Japanese that have a weather card. Okay, so we're essentially finishing amphibious assaults and processing post-battle movement. Now this guy here, technically he didn't capture this yet. Now he captures it, but I had already recorded it as if he had captured. This place is captured here. There's no port, so this light carrier, Ryujo, is going to have to go find a port. And it might as well go back to Naval area, just to stay out of allied harm. Sorabaja has been taken, and that is another resource X. Japanese are at 7 resources. Let's see. I think this air unit is going to reposition down to here. And, trying to decide. I think, you know, maybe it'll stay there. It'll stay there. Then this air unit's going to go use its extended movement, 1, 2, 3, 4, to come down over here. Okay, so what that does, so Borneo, this guy is covered in zones of influence. This guy's covered in zones of influence. This whole passage here is covered in Japanese zones of influence. Yeah, and it's not canceled out by the Dutch unit here because these areas are out of range of the Dutch unit, and so the eastern path has been blocked. Yeah, I'm not so sure if I'm happy with this, what I just did, but I did take 3 resource X's, so that's good. All right. Okay, now for the Allied first card. The Allies, I feel they have a pretty good hand. They have these 2 nice offensive cards. And then these cards they can't really use the events for, but they're all 3 ops, so I can do some damage with those. And then this card I can't really play. It's a reaction card. I mean, I want to save it for a reaction. So probably going to maybe do some prep work with one of these and then later launch one of these. I'm not sure. But thought long and hard what I should be doing. What's my strategy here? So let's take a look at the situation. Like the noose is tightening around Java. Malaya is, of course, in trouble, as well as the Philippines. So I feel like I need to do something there. Another option is start pushing with these new reinforcements up to Rabaul. If I can take Rabaul, that will ensure that I can keep all these islands here and just, steadily push northwest. Another idea is to make a strike on the Japanese carriers. Just kind of looking at what's available in this area. There's a lot of ships, a lot of aircraft that could react into this area if I did attack the Japanese carriers, and I don't think I can get enough stuff there to deal with that reaction. I might have barely enough to sink a couple carriers. So I think as a general strategy, I want to try to get out of the noose as much as I can here and try to draw the carriers over here. Basically try to bog the Japanese down. Maybe put a lot of naval forces down here. Got these fairly decent British naval units up here. If they get mixed up down here, that might require the Japanese to bring more Navy units over here, which would make it easier for the US to counterattack. Of course, I'm playing against myself, but I'm trying to just think from one side's point of view completely and ignoring, what I might be thinking about for the other side. Okay, so yeah, I think we're going to start that general plan in motion and see how it pans out. Okay, so the card I'm going to play is Soviets Invade Manchuria, which I cannot play based on what's listed here, so I can't play for the event. So I'll play it for the 3 ops. There's a 40% chance of detection of the offensive. And this card is a reshuffle marker, so when you play it, you throw it on top of your deck, and that's a reminder that you need to reshuffle your deck. Now, looking at this little stack in Java, it's under great risk, way greater than I realized. Just kind of reorganizing things here. This Dutch air unit is critical to Java surviving. In fact, maybe I shouldn't be even bothering and I should just evacuate. But if that Dutch air unit goes down, the zones of influence of the Japanese will cover the headquarters and it will become pretty much useless. So I need to get some aircraft in there. Looked around, there's an Australian air unit way over here. And if it did a strategic air transport, strategic air move, something like that. Basically it means like you're not going to do anything but move from base to base to base to base and avoid enemy zones of influence. You can move 6 hops when you do that. And it could make it up there, but I'd be wasting a card. There's not much else to do over here, as far as I can tell at the moment. So I didn't like that. So I was looking around, how else can I get some like air defenses in here? And way up there in Ceylon, there's a nice British carrier and then like a little junky British carrier. So I was thinking, okay, let's try to get those guys down. I was looking at these. There's an American air unit here and a British air unit here. Thinking, can I get those down there? I just can't. There's no air bases to help. So I think we're gonna try to get those ships down there. We played a 3-op card. I'm gonna activate Southeast Asia Command. Has 1 efficiency. That's 4 units I can activate. Now there's already 3 ships in port down in Java. You can only have 6 stacked when you're not like in a battle. So I'm going to activate 3 of these ships to bring it up to 6. So we're going to do Hermes, Indomitable, and Warspite. So there's 2 carriers and a big battleship. Okay, so they can go 15 normally since it's a 3-op card, but since we're going to do like a port-to-port transfer, they can actually do 30, and there's plenty of room to do that. So they're just going to come right down here, scoot into there. Before I do that though, I'm able to activate 1 more unit by Southeast Asia Command. So I better do that. We'll activate this Chinese unit. Okay. So now we're doing our moves. And yeah, these guys are just going to slide right in here. When you're doing I think they could actually probably just make it without doing a strategic move, but when you're doing a strategic move, your zones of influence of any of your carriers are disabled, and then they re-enable once you're done. Okay, so I think I have 6 ships there, so that's quite a stack there, but I feel much safer now. Like a Japanese strike can't just take out the lone zone of influence projector. Okay, China unit up here. Remember last turn I wanted this guy down here anyway, so he has 3 movement points. He's just gonna slide right in there, and yeah, I think that's good for the offensive. Okay, Japanese turn. Most of their cards are like reaction type cards, so we'll go ahead and play this offensive, Ants. So I can activate the South or South Seas headquarters if I do this event. Logistics value 3. It's a 2-op card, so that's good. And then the bonus is, if the Allies have not yet played the PT Boats event, flip the Japanese ASP marker to its barges side. The Japanese can use barge movement until the Allied play of the PT Boats event, and then we'll remove this card from play. The ASP marker that I use to track how many ASPs the Japanese have, flip it over to the barges side. And so barge movement basically means a land unit can cross a single ocean hex side or sea hex side to another land hex. So very short, but it saves having to use an ASP. Okay, so I need to figure out what I'm going to do here. South Seas is near New Guinea, and South is in Southeast Asia, so I have to pick a headquarters and 4 units to activate. Okay, we're still in inter-service rivalry. So I have to pick a service as well. I'm going to pick the Army. Activate the South headquarters, so I have 4 units to activate. We're going to activate this Army unit here. It'll assault here. This Army Air. This Army Air unit over here. By the way, it's just sort of obvious to me that they're all in range and in supply. And finally, yeah, I think this air unit here in, what is that? Bangkok. Okay, now we'll go ahead and move. See, unit's going to go here. There's a chance the Dutch could try to retreat. I have to go look up that rule. This army unit's going to go here. This air unit is going to fly down to, let's see, you can go 4. Yeah, so it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And just hang out here. You know, maybe it'll go a little further. 1, 2, 3. And could it have gone 4 there? No. This air unit is going to fly over here, get in short range of the battle. I'm declaring battle hexes here, and here. You know, let me back up this aircraft a bit. I think we'll just leave it here so that it's in short range of the battle. Is that going to help me in any way? Well, it'll give me a bonus. So yeah, maybe we'll go down here then. The reason I'm wanting it down here is if there's a reaction I don't know. I might be able to do something better there. Probably not. Okay, let's see if the Allies react. It's a 90% chance of being intercepted, I think. Let me see here. No, 70% chance. Let's see what it is. Yeah, 6. So it has been detected. So now the Allies have to choose how they're going to react. I believe they operate as if a 2-op card was played, or 2 ops. I'll double check, make sure they don't get to use the logistics value. I'm pretty sure they don't. I think they get to use 2 ops. Yes, so it's the their logistics value is the op value of the card. An exception would be if they played a special kind of reaction card that has its own logistics value. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and activate ABDA. By the way, there is a concept called ground disengagement, where a reaction player, the defender, could, whether or not we intercept it or not, could try to, they can retreat away from an assault like this, but your combat strength has to be greater than the attacker's combat strength, and that is not the case there, so they don't have sufficient strength to disengage and basically move to another hex. Okay, so I think we're going to activate a bunch of units down in here. Going to do the Indomitable. I think we'll leave the Hermes since it's kind of weak. Warspite battleship. Let's take Force Z. And let's see. Oh, we can only take 3 because the ops were 2 and we have an efficiency of 1. So we're taking those 3. You know, this might be silly. Okay, so they are going to move, and I see no reason for them to not just move right into Terracan. So they're in the battle hex there. Okay, there's no other cards to be played, so we're going to go ahead and roll for the combat efficiency of both sides. So the Japanese rolled a 6. Oh, Allies rolled a 6. Looks like there's no modifiers, because this was a surprise attack that converted into an intercept, so no modifiers. Yeah, looks right. Okay, so a 6 for both sides is a like their attack is at full strength, and this can be simultaneous combat. So since there's an air unit participating in this battle, there's an air naval battle. So I guess we'll just do the Allies first. So they've got 28. That's enough to completely destroy this unit. Yep. That unit is a 22. So let's see. I can hit the Indomitable. That might be good. I can't hit Force Z. Yeah, so unfortunately I can only hit 1 unit. So you got 22 coming in. If I wound this guy for 14, the remainder isn't enough to wound this guy. Yeah, we'll wound the Indomitable. See, I'm okay with that because the Allies get naval replacements. Actually, I don't see any Commonwealth naval replacements on the replacements chart, so okay, maybe not. Maybe that wasn't such a hot idea after all. But I did managed to eliminate this Japanese unit. It's pre-war, so we'll never be seen again. Okay, now for the ground combat. Let's roll for combat efficiency. Combat effectiveness, actually, is what it's called. Japanese, not so hot. Allies, better. And let's see, so the offensive player, that's the Japanese. They're attacking into mixed, so it goes down to 0. And they don't have any air or naval units, so they don't get any other bonuses. So they're at 0, that's half strength, rounded up. So they're going to be attacking at 5. That is not enough to harm the Dutch. And then the defender, I don't see any modifiers for them. The bonus for having ships in air, I thought both sides got that, but only the offensive player gets it, which is interesting. So 1 does nothing to 12. Okay, so stalemate. Now for this battle, if I recall correctly, air units cannot harm the last step of a land unit. So we'll go ahead and roll for combat effectiveness of the ground troops. Okay, Japanese are very effective. And they're attacking into mixed, so that's a -2, so they have a 7. They're 1.5, rounded up, so that would be 27 attack. Oh yeah, doesn't really matter, does it? And then the allies are at half strength. Yep. So that's complete destruction. That is a pre-war unit. And they instantly take control of Kwantan, which is a resource X. So I'm increasing the Japanese resources to 8. Okay, that's the end of the battle. Now we're going to do post-battle movement. The British ships are going to return where they came from. This Japanese unit was repulsed. This Japanese unit's complete. It completed its move. This air unit. It might be good here, actually, because it's covering Singapore still. I don't want to make a mistake of... oh, wait. I need some air units up here, though, don't I? I don't have any air in Southeast Asia now. It's kind of nice having it cover Singapore. Okay, we'll move it back a bit. So 1, 2, 3. We'll end here. So we're still covering Singapore, but we're close, sort of, to Southeast Asia. All right, I think we're probably about an hour in, so go ahead and cut it here, and we'll continue turn 3 in the next video. For turn 4, I'm going to try to streamline like the beginning and end bookkeeping of the game so that maybe I can fit the offensive phase into a single video. We'll see. Thanks for watching.